This week marks exactly a year since the Russian forces withdrew from Bucha. Everyone knew that this was going to be a very bloody affair. But what no one expected was the scale of the killings. And as in any war, it is the common people who end up paying the ultimate price. Russia and Ukraine are two nations that are joined at the hip with deep shared cultural and spiritual heritage. But this war has ripped people apart. A faith that has been a common heritage of the Russian and Ukrainian people for over 1,000 years is now under threat because of the deep political differences that have emerged in this war. Our next report gets you the details.
This is the town of Seversk. It is less than 10 kilometers from the front lines, and almost every single home here has been bombed and reduced to rubble. But through the carnage of artillery shells landing on every inch of ground around her, 67-year-old Irina has managed to survive, along with her daughter-in-law and 2 young grandchildren. Her son, though, is on the front lines, battling the Russian onslaught. With little food and hardly any drinking water, Irina says she hid with her family in the basement, seeing little to no sunlight for days on end.
We've almost lived for a year without electricity, gas, water, but we are alive. They're taking my daughter-in-law with my 2 grandchildren. I was worried about them. Thank God. Let them go.
Irina's grandchildren are being relocated to a safer place, but Irina herself is staying back. If death must come, she says, she would prefer to die in her home than in a strange new place. 30 kilometers from Kiev, in the town of Bucha, candles have been lit to remember the victims of the Bucha massacre, exactly a year after the Russian forces were pushed back from here. But no one was prepared for the scale of killings that were witnessed in Bucha. Dead bodies were scattered on the streets, and graveyards ran out of space. Even Pope Francis had appealed for calm.
Recent news from the war in Ukraine, instead of bringing relief and hope, brought new atrocities, such as the massacre of Bucha. Cruelty that is increasingly horrendous, even against civilians, defenseless women and children. They are victims whose innocent blood cries out up to heaven and implores, "Stop this war, let the weapons fall silent. Stop sowing death and destruction. Let's pray together."
Bucha was under Russian occupation for just 33 days, but the scars left behind by the horrific violence won't heal anytime soon. People have begun to trickle back into their homes. Streets are being cleaned, homes are being repaired and repainted. Mark Yesichuk was just 4 years old when the Russian forces had gone on the rampage in his city.
We were without phones, we did not have electricity. We sat on our beanbag chairs, we slept on them, and we went outside. There was blood everywhere. And there were tanks and helicopters, shot down I think, and continuous tracks of armored vehicles. There were so many of these tracks, I got scared. And blood was there a bit.
The golden domes of the Kiev-Perchesk-Lavra monastery dominate the skylines of Kiev. It is Ukraine's most revered site of the Orthodox Christian faith, to which 72% of people in Ukraine adhere to. But the war has cast its shadow on this 980-year-old monument, which has historic ties with the Russian Orthodox Church. Patriarch Kirill of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church has supported Russian President Vladimir Putin. But the Ukrainian Orthodox Church has insisted that it is loyal to Ukraine and has categorically condemned Russia's war. But Kiev has served an eviction notice, accusing the Ukrainian Orthodox Church of violating tenancy agreements and illegal construction. The monks of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church have slammed the eviction notice and have accused Kiev of acting without merit. Scuffles were reported between the monks and the government officials who turned up to enforce the eviction order. Not even the faith that has been shared for 1,000 years has been spared from the ravages of war.